I'm a student. My parents make enough money that when I went through student finance to get my maintenance loan I was told I could only get the minimum, just over 3K a year, because finance is calculated from what your parents earn and there's an assumption that your parents will help you out. I'm on a high-intensity course and I wasn't sure how I'd be able to balance studying and schooling, so when I found out I was going to get minimum I told my parents I wanted to either take the coming year to save up and then go to my first choice university a year later than planned, or go to my second choice now because I wouldn't be able to afford to live in the city my first choice is in. My parents then said that they would pay my rent if I went to my first choice on schedule. They set me up in a studio flat, so all I had to do was get a part-time job to cover the cost of food and bills. On 18th February, my 20th birthday, they called me and said that I was relying on them too much and needed to find out what the real world was like by earning my own money, so they would cover my rent and phone for that month, so until end of February, and after that, I was on my own, then said that they were still my parents and they loved me and wanted me to stay in touch, just learn some independence while doing this. I begged them to reconsider, but they ended the call, so I had 11 days notice that I would have no flat or phone. I begged my unit for emergency housing, but they said that I had no proof I'd been cut off, so they couldn't do anything. I emailed my parents asking them to write a letter stating they'd cut me off so I could sort my student finance and emergency housing, they said no. I asked work if I could take on more hours and was told that due to my contract I can't do any more than I'm already doing, so I'm now looking for a second job. I'm sleeping on a friend's sofa until a place I can afford opens up, and as I still don't have proof I've been cut off for student finance I will probably have to drop out this summer. I got a Facebook message from them today telling me they were disappointed I didn't call on Mum's birthday a couple days ago and that I've not given them my new phone number yet. I responded telling them the position I'm currently in and that I no longer want a relationship with them. I've gotten a bunch of messages from them and my brother's asking me to reconsider. My friend says I shouldn't feel bad, but I feel incredibly guilty and like a spoiled brat because I don't love my family for their money. I love them because they're my family, but at the same time, they've really screwed me over here. Am I the idiot for not wanting a relationship with them? Not the idiot. They made an offer and backed out of it in the middle of a semester. If they wanted you to be independent they should have let you make your own decision to go a year later. Now you're out of a home and struggling financially, and even if you get on top of finances fully, you'll be strung too thin for your health because they pulled the rug from under you. I understand, it feels real grimy to try to cut ties when money is involved. But really it shouldn't be about the money, it's about the fact they left you out to dry and they expect to thank you. Not the idiot. That was tremendously irresponsible and cruel of them, especially considering the current situation across the world and all the financial and economic stability it's causing. That said, just because you're not an idiot for wanting to cut ties over this doesn't mean it's the best choice for your sake. Absolutely take time to yourself and ask for them to leave you alone for now, but I wouldn't completely shut the door to any future relationship with them. You may regret it if you do. Not the idiot. They can cut you off if they want, but they could have given you a warning or given you that letter for proof of financial difficulty. Being evicted teaches you nothing of the real world. It just damages your credit and decimated your future. You had a responsible plan. You planned on saving up, they offered you a way to go early. Now they expect you to smile while they are effing up your life. No way. I'm so sorry you are going through this. I hope they change their mind. During the moving process of finding an apartment, my roommate's parents were single-handedly the most difficult people to deal with. The following events all took place in chronological order. I originally wanted to move in April in order to avoid having to move during finals. His parents shot down the idea and told him that he was not allowed to sign the lease until May. We prepared a complete list of furniture together without our parents' involvement. Keep in mind that we are both 19. My parents who live abroad simply gave me a budget and told me to sort it out myself. My roommate's parents vetoed the list of furniture and told us that everything had to be cheaper. Okay, no worries, I proceed to sit on my own and recreate an entire list of furniture and then send it again. For a second time, it was rejected because the couch was too expensive for no reason. Keep in mind this couch is being bought used. Sensing an approach to the move-in date and the fact that I still was not given the okay to buy the furniture, I tell my roommate that I need to buy the furniture because he is leaving for summer and I do not want to be stuck building it all on my own. For an entire week, my roommate then avoids me completely, telling me that he has finals and not to bother him. His parents refuse to allow me to purchase the furniture and tell me to wait. It is now May 1st, I have the keys to the apartment and no furniture. I manage to convince my dorm to allow me to stay a couple of extra days. Since the delivery date of the furniture would now be after he leaves, I ask him if his parents would be willing to split the assembly fee so that I would not have to build everything on my own. His parents said no. They would not pay for someone to come assemble the furniture because it would be an extra $100. May 3rd, I receive a call from my dad. My dad has always been more of the strict type. He berated me on the phone for not having been organized enough to sort out buying furniture for an apartment as a 19-year-old. I was told to just buy whatever furniture I want out of my pocket rather than wait on my roommate to respond. My mom had also forced my dad to buy a plane ticket to fly 18 hours to come to assist me in moving. After my dad flew 18 hours to come to assist me and my roommate is moving and building all of the furniture, my roommate told me that his parents were coming to our city for the summer and that they wanted to stay in the apartment for a month and a half. He wanted them to sleep in my room. After my roommate left, I hired a carpenter and installed a key lock on the door of my bedroom. Since I paid for the TV, couch, and pretty much 60% of all the furniture, my dad wanted me to put the couch and TV in storage. I decided that the best medium would be to leave everything but to lock my bedroom door. My mother warned me that if I go through with this, I could potentially lose my best friend. Would I be the idiot if I locked my door for the summer? Not the idiot. You're paying for your half of rent while you are not there. His parents are paying for his half of the rent while he is not there. Just because you aren't there doesn't mean they are entitled to your room, which is effectively your half of the rent. Is he going to be there while his parents are there? His parents sound entitled. I wouldn't want people who treated me the way they treated you to have any sort of unsupervised access to my possessions. They just want a place to stay for free. If he's not going to be there, they can stay in his room. Not the idiot. But dude, I would have been looking for a new roommate. At this point, there probably isn't a way that you A. keep this friendship, B. this doesn't become a nightmare. However, at this point, it's clear his parents are more important than your friendship. I would inform your landlord of what your friend is trying to do so he can nip that in the bud. I would then be ready to call the police if they try to stay over regardless. Then I would start looking for a new roommate to take over the lease. This is not okay. It's your room. You are paying the rent to live in that bedroom, not them. If I was your mother, I would tell your roommate's parents that the only way they would stay there is over my dead body. Nobody pushes around my kid. Just curious, why would you choose to live in this situation? It sounds like your roommate's parents are going to be there more often than not, telling you what you can or cannot do in your own apartment. Dude, start making a plan B. This isn't going to work out. SO, 33, and I, 24, have been together for over a year and a half. We've been living together for a few months. His family is religious, and every time there's a family event they always ask, when are you getting married? They all make hopeful comments about me getting pregnant soon, not the right time, always talking about how great it would be for us to wed. They're a bit invasive, but at least they're supportive, I guess. I'm a part-time student and SO works about 60 hours per week and doesn't make a lot of money. Plus, the following. We checked his credit score a few days ago and it's bad. If a score went from 1 to 1,000, his would be 10. Meaning he can't buy a car, he can't open a business, he can't rent a place to live, he can't order a credit card, he can't do a thing involving banks and credit. He was going back to university next year for a degree he's passionate about, but guess what? He can't even get approved for school loans. His mom owns a small business that is neck deep in debt. She owes banks about $100,000 in loans and interest. She gets angry if anyone tries to help figure it out. SO is listed as a partner in the business and he can't legally get out without the debt being paid off. Besides that, his parents have taken multiple loans throughout the years in SO's name, which they never paid back. So picture how badly a few $2,000 loans can grow with interest added. Then picture it over a few years span. Yeah. That bad. Plus telephone bills are unpaid in his name, his mom's phone. So basically he's screwed. He confronted his mother about this mess, and all she can say to him is it's being handled in a very dismissive way. And we know for a fact it's not, and will only get worse. I am thinking about next time I see her and she asks about weddings, babies, and stuff, I'll flat out say I will not marry your son if he doesn't have a credit score. I will not put a child in this world to inherit over $100,000 in debt. I will also not marry someone and risk getting that debt either. So, until you figure this mess out, don't bother asking me. I want her to know how badly she screwed her son over. I want her to feel it. I want to make her take responsibility and make her realize what's at stake here. Would I be the idiot if I do that? Please, let me know. Not the idiot. But also remember your SO is 33 and should have also been looking into taking responsibility for his own credit. I don't know what his parents can even do. They can co-sign a loan he wants to take out, but that won't magically make his credit better, it'll help though. Sure, be frank about your reasoning. It's important, especially for your husband, to understand where he stands. And unless he doesn't want his parents to help, you wouldn't be an idiot. Not the idiot. They only want you to have babies so they can take loans out in its name. Also, it sounds like they took loans out in the son's name without his knowledge or consent. If that's the case, I would seriously consider talking to a lawyer. That's identity theft. The son's life is essentially ruined at this point. He's incapable of properly taking care of himself or bettering his life. And should he actually manage to save any money or buy anything nice, he is at risk for having it seized as payment for loans he didn't even take out. Not the idiot. But if it was his mother who told him he can't get out of the business without all the debt being paid off, don't believe her. It's in her best interest to keep a patsy on the line. If there's a partnership agreement, there should be a clause about leaving and what contractually that entails. If there's not, well, either way he should hire a lawyer. He's got to turn off the tap before cleaning up the mess. If he won't, so honey, he'll make gestures, but he'll never stop getting dragged under. He needs therapy, oh boy. I, 15, enjoy cooking and baking and have always wanted a stand mixer since it would make life easier in the kitchen, and have told my mom this multiple times and had wanted one for my birthday. As time goes on, my birthday rolled around and my uncle comes to visit us and had brought me a present. I didn't open it until he left as I wanted to spend time with him and not look like a greedy child only wanting the gifts. When he leaves, I open the gift and there it was. A decent looking white stand mixer that's important for later and was around £80 in value. I used this multiple times in the kitchen and enjoyed using it as it was a great tool for the kitchen. A few months later I wanted to make some croissants and asked my mom. She said yes. I went to the kitchen looking for the stand mixer and it was gone. I looked everywhere for it and couldn't find it. I asked my mom where it was and she said she gave it away to charity. I went mental. I said a few hateful words saying how stupid she was for giving away my birthday present away for free when it wasn't cheap. She said I was in no position to tell her what she can and can't do as it was her kitchen and apparently her stand mixer. I was done at that point and asked why would she even do something like that, and her answer was it didn't fit in the kitchen since it was white, not black. I gave up at that point and went to sleep as I had nothing to do. And 2 weeks later she bought another stand mixer which was almost double the price, same brand, same wattage but black. Now, since this wasn't my mixer, I was not allowed to use it anymore, so now my mixer is gone and I can't even use the new one anymore. I went on another spree of saying mean words to her and she teared up. My 3 siblings say I overreacted and now I feel guilty. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It was not her place to give away your mixer, and as far as teenagers and hobbies go, she ought to be happy that you have one that keeps you at home and safe. I teach, so I constantly worry about my kids hanging out in dangerous places and general risky behavior. I'm an aunt and if my sister gave away something I gave to one of my nieces, I would be furious. How can she give away your gift and then refuse to allow you to use her mixer? Honestly messed up. I really hope you get a new mixer, you deserve it. Not the idiot. My parents did this a handful of times with gaming equipment and stuffed toys. I blew up every time and they would say it won't happen again, but if it didn't, I wouldn't be telling this story. When I was about 13 they gave away my YE, so one weekend I went and stole one of my dad's soldier figures and gave it to a neighbor. I didn't particularly know what I had actually taken because I was so hellbent on making them taste their own medicine. Turns out the figure was worth a few $100s. Not the idiot, it sounds like something my narcissistic mother would do and giving it to charity, so they can make you sound uncharitable and selfish for being upset. Anything I enjoyed a little too much would randomly disappear given to my cousins or her friends' kids, she pitied and painted at her being charitable. Her actions seem to come from a very dark and twisted place, and then gaslighting you. Does she even use the new black mixer, or did she get it just to hurt you? My son sat me and his mother down last week and told us he had gotten his girlfriend pregnant. He is only 17 and she is 16. I told him I was proud that he came forward to tell me, but I didn't get too far into the discussion before he told me that they are keeping the baby. Both have not graduated high school, and frankly, both are quite irresponsible. According to him, having a child is easy and not really that hard. We tried to persuade him to look at other options, but he was adamant that they were going to have the kid, and that was the end of that. Since then, the house has been quite tense. Any talk of the situation is immediately shut down, and my son refuses to see what we are attempting to show him. I have decided to teach him that kids are more difficult than he initially thinks. Since my son told us they were pregnant, I have done the following. I wake him up twice a night, 2 hours apart after he has fallen asleep. I open the door, scream as loud as I can until I know he is awake, and I shut the door. I've done this 5 nights in a row. I purchased a sack of flour for him and dressed it in a diaper. I have made him change the diaper every 2 hours, and if he doesn't, I shut off the internet until he changes it. I will sometimes smear Nutella in the diaper for added effect or mess. While playing one of his games, I told him his baby wanted to be held. Giving me a true grin, he told me he has no issue playing his game and holding the baby. I placed the sack of flour in his arms, and he continued to play basically one-handed. While he was doing this, I went to the kitchen, grabbed a small cup of applesauce, and splashed it on his shoulder while he was playing. I told him that his baby spits up and he might want to pause his game to take care of that. I have not allowed him to go to the movies or hang out with his friends at their house. When he presses me for a reason, I tell him, "You don't have a babysitter. You can go if you take your sack of flour with you." He has not gone anywhere in a week. Yesterday, I did my best pratfall in front of his friends who were over and then wailed and cried until he came over and started talking to me. I told him babies demand attention and he will have to get used to this. This was the last straw for him. After his friends left, he accused me of being an idiot and for being ridiculous with the wants and needs of a baby. He told me I am being completely unrealistic. I reminded him that he was an incredibly fussy baby and everything I have done so far he has done to me in the past. His mother tells me I am being an idiot and to let him make his own decisions, but I don't want my 17 years shackled to a baby when neither of them are ready for this. If anything, I want him to realize how hard this is going to be and to at least look at options. Tell me the truth. Am I being too much of an idiot here? No idiots here, but you are an idiot. You are using pranks and shaming to teach him what? That he's emotionally immature. That he's not strong enough, smart enough, tough enough. You should take him to a lawyer. Let the lawyer explain his parental responsibilities, custody, child care, child support for the next 18 years. After the lawyer visit, explain very clearly what assistance you will or will not provide. Discuss how he will meet his legal obligations. Stop freaking around and do it quickly. Before his options are narrowed by time passing. Everyone's the idiot here. I mean, he is wrong and it's not easy. Having a kid at that age is dumb. Neither of the kids is mentally ready for the tremendous burden that is about to be placed on them. Finish school and work a full-time job to support a family. I was this dumb. However, you are an idiot. Hiding a bag of flour isn't the same as holding the child you love. Having someone purposely throw food on you isn't the same as the kid you love spitting upon you. Being woken up in the middle of the night by an adult screaming isn't the same as waking to the cries of a newborn you love.